June 1st, 2014. My name is Jason Button Parsons. I'm an autistic self-advocate. I'm a little bit delayed in doing this video talking about everything that the Autistic Self-Advocacy community of Phoenix, Arizona, USA has been doing to try to play by the rules in order to get our needs met. But nevertheless, it's amounted to nothing because we continue to get ignored, and so this is the reason why I've decided to stop playing by the rules and basically say you're either going to listen to me or arrest me for trespassing. Again, this is a non-violent civil disobedience modeled after Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay? And it's because we have no other choice. We've tried to do everything else, and the purpose of this video is to this series of videos is to clearly show you what we have done here in Phoenix in order to try to get our needs met, and how the establishment has just completely ignored us. The establishment and the media have just completely ignored us and done whatever they feel like doing in our name. And so, anyways, to give you some background information on me, I was identified as an autistic in February of 2009 when my mom, when my mom, who is now a retired LPN, attended an in-service which was talking about autism and Asperger's, and she recognized me in that video, and I eventually accepted what she was saying, and I was officially diagnosed through the Social Security Administration in order that I can receive Social Security disability in the summer of 2009, and I started receiving my payments in September of that same year. During that same month, I got myself involved with an autistic support group that was co-organized by Sue Galbach, a now retired occupational therapist, and Tara Marshall, a speech-language pathology assistant, both of whom are autistic, and therefore both of whom understand autism from both a personal and professional point of view. Later, our group was joined in May of 2011 by Dr. Brian Woodruff, who joined our group for personal reasons, and he's a neurologist with Mayo Clinic, and he has since gotten involved with a couple of autism research projects. Well, one's actually, is actually going on, and the second one's a proposed project, but the one that he's involved with right now is actually involves about a half a dozen different research organizations throughout the United States, including locally here the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center and the Mayo Clinic with which he works. And so anyways, so I state all this in order to clearly demonstrate that I'm not some antisocial, neurologically defective recluse that's just lashing out at society. Okay, I am a student by nature. Okay, what I mean by that is I just like to study. Okay, the people that are insisting on spinning everything to the negative says I have obsessive compulsive disorder and narrow focuses of interest, or whatever blah 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 nonsense they want to say about autistics. Bottom line is that when a subject matters to me as much as autism does, I want to learn everything about the subject. Okay, and that's what I've done. Is I've gone to the most capable people who are willing to engage me in one-on-one dialogue about these issues, because that's how I learn. Okay, everybody keeps telling me, oh, you should go back to school, or you can do school online, all this blah blah blah. That's not how I learn. Okay, I learn through one-on-one dialogue, with knowledgeable experts, and so it is, anyways, that is how I've come to grow and develop. And if you go onto my website, aacphoenix.com, and you go under the Putting the Autism Puzzle Pieces Together tab, first edition is a a book that I've written, and if you go to the acknowledgments section, you're going to actually find that there are about 24 different people over the course of my lifetime who I credit for developing my understanding of what's autism, as well as groups of people. Okay, and so probably about 100 different people, all told, who have spoken into my life and helped me develop where I'm at. So like I said, no, I'm not some neurologically defective, antisocial recluse who doesn't talk to anybody and just lashes out. Okay, I am a student by nature. I always have been. I always will be. Although, in school doing academic stuff, a lot of stuff, didn't get my focus. Yes, that's another set of issues to talk about at another time. But as far as an adult, who I am as a 45-year-old adult, I am a student, not a recluse. Okay, so that needs to be made very clear. So in March of 2010, I attended my first autism conference, and there was a lot of things that came about as a result of that conference. And one of the things is the belief that autistics need to have more say in how autism is presented to the public. And so I went, and there were several other autistic self-advocates already in our group that were thinking about the same thing. And so we started discussing how we would organize. And this was brought up in our April meeting, and to recruit support for other autistics who would want to come and join us. And during that meeting, well, actually, I'll get into that in another video. But anyways, then in May, the subject was brought up again. But at this point, it became very clear that there was a deep divide in the autistic community as far as how to go about advocating. Okay, almost everybody in the group, everybody except for me, advocated political advocacy, going out doing protests and all this other stuff, while I advocated, for direct dialogue, okay, constructive dialogue. And I was told, no, that's not going to work. They're not going to listen. And the fact is, they're right. After 4 years, I have to concede that they're absolutely right, that the autism establishment is so arrogant that they will not listen to autistics and adjust what they're teaching about us, and so, on the other hand, I've also been proven right in the rare occasions where I have found somebody who I can engage in one-on-one dialogue with, that we can come to mutual understandings and agreements. So we're both right. The problem is because the autistic self-advocacy community has no say in how autism is presented to the public, I'm not given the opportunity to prove that I'm right, that the solution is direct, constructive, not just one-on-one dialogue, but direct, constructive dialogue. Okay, and so in any case, so that the political advocates, went on to form the Arizona chapter of the Autism Self-Advocacy Network under Ari Neiman, and I participated in their meetings because they allowed me to. Okay, yes, I disagree with a number of Ari Neiman's positions, but nevertheless, at least they give me a chance to express my opposing viewpoints, which is the only organization in the entire autism world that allows me to do so. And so, in any case, in October, well, actually, rewinding back to May, after the inability for us to come to agreements, in May, I talked to my pastor's wife about us forming a diplomatic corps, which is where the Autism Ambassadors Corps was devised, and then in October of 2010 is when my church was able to finally give me official support in order to formally start it, stating that I can use their facilities, but of course I would have to organize any events on my own. And so at that time, my pastor gave me the directive to do what I was planning on doing anyway, was to build bridges with these other organizations. And so this makes sense to everybody except for the organizations in which I was trying to make bridges with, but I still can't because that's not how they operate. In any case, so during the October ASAN meeting, one of the things that ASAN does every year is protest the Autism Speaks walks because they have serious issues with Autism Speaks, which I'm not going to go into at this time. I agree with them in principle on what their grievances are, but I'm not 1% in agreement with ASAN on in how to respond to these issues. But anyways, the bottom line is that the Autistic Self-Advocacy community wanted to exercise its First Amendment rights to protest, and so they went and they sent out notices to the media stating what they were going to do and why. And this was done by Sue, who was the president, Sue Golobuck, and Tara Marshall was the vice president. But anyways, Sue sent out the press releases, and what she got back was, well, everybody wants to complain about something, and therefore, no, we just can't give everybody enough time, and just the same blah 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 fact that they don't care what autistics have to say. When you talk about all these other issues, immigration, you keep hearing the exact same bloody arguments over and over again. There's maybe a half a dozen actual positions for both sides, and they let 100 people say the exact same thing over and over again. They can't give one of those interviews to an autistic to allow the autistic to express grievances. Same with civil rights, women's issues, any political issue you want, okay, except for the grievances of autistics. The grievances of autistics are the only ones that simply don't matter. Okay, one of the news stations even interviewed this guy that they claimed that the contrails, that we're being lied to about the contrails that jet airplanes leave behind, that actually all these jet airplanes are part of a global conspiracy to spray the human race with some kind of chemical for some reason that made absolutely no sense, but at least he got interviewed, okay, because, everybody has the right to have their voice heard except for the Autistic Self-Advocacy community. We have no right to have our voice heard. It's not newsworthy, okay, as was told to me by Channel 3 here recently. The reason why they haven't talked to me in the past month is because what I have to say isn't newsworthy. Everybody else's complaints are newsworthy, but the Autistic Self-Advocacy community isn't newsworthy. Therefore, just simply ignore them. Okay, and keep in mind, that October 2010, that there was 6 to 8 people involved with ASAN. So it wasn't just one single autistic self-advocate like right now. There was a group there that was wanting to protest what was going on. Okay, and it still didn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's one. It doesn't matter if it's a half a dozen or more. Nobody cares. And so you wonder why autistics are becoming so disgruntled with society that a couple of them have gone on shooting sprees, which I'm not justifying what they did. I condemn what they do, but people are asking, how could this be happening? Gee, what do you think? Why do you think it's happening? You think that this might have something to do with it?